It's the college football show presented by AT&T 5G, and you cannot stop him. You can only try and contain him, and even that effort is futile at best. Bowling Green's Christian Sims takes the pass, runs over a defender, trucks him for 81 yards. He is Optimus Prime for Halloween, and we are just getting rolling from Studio E in Bristol for the next hour. The college football show presented by AT&T 5G. We'll get you all of the highlights that you need. We'll get you all the action you know you want, and we'll do it in style. Look, we're wearing some, but I'm confused. Like, I'm Fred. Zoinks. Why? Because my name's Jason Fitz, but I'm hosting with Skubie Mageza. Skubie, I thought this was easy. Like, I thought you were going to be Skubie, and I would come as somebody from Scooby-Doo. Like, I thought we had, like, the Skubie, Fred. Skubie, Fred. Like, this made a lot of zoinks.
Right,
they made the graphic.
Stop.
Okay.
All right? It's hammer time, bro.
Oh, it's
I'm trying to tell you. Stop playing with me, Fitz.
I got nothing for this. Oh, and he's even side. It's going to be a long hour, y'all. All right, he's Skubie Mageza. I'm Jason Fitz. He's breaking out all the moves, Skubie, by the way.
Yeah,
Incredible
I've never dressed as Scooby-Doo, but I felt like today was hammer time. It was time to go hammer. I'm in the zone.
Yeah, your necklace is caught on your microphone, though. You're killing. You got to get the. See, I'm saving the whole show here. I am doing what Fred usually does, which means Michigan taking on Michigan State. This was the game of the day and maybe one of the best games of the year. Kenneth Walker right here. This is going to be a theme. He bounces out. You can't stop him. Ooh. No, sir. Swiggity swooty. He's going for the booty. Take another look at this one here, Skubie.
I mean, Walker had 26 yards after contact on that play, and he averages about 4 yards after contact this year. The guy does not get brought down by the first person trying to bring him down.
One of the 26 transfers on this roster for Mel Tucker. We pick it up here. Third quarter, Cade McNamara, who had an incredible day. Look at this pretty pass.
Woo!
Oh,
strong.
Wolverines go up 30-14 here.
What a strong catch, strong hands, and he just did it to him right there. Freshman doing his thing.
Now we pick it up, Cade McNamara. Another big look. Look at this one. Wolverines going up 30-14. But we were not ready to call this one done. Spartans down 16 in the fourth. Look at that pretty pass. Aggressive play call on 4th and 1.
Jaden Reed was huge for them in this game. He had a couple big catches there.
Pick it up one play later. It was questionable. It was iffy. But they say he got in. They get the 2-point conversion. Spartans now down 8 in the fourth quarter. Pick it up here. Familiar name. Walker. Woo! Bam! 58 yards. Just rubbling, stumbling, bubbling.
Man, he was playing like a man possessed, and they could not stop this man today. And he's got more for us later on.
Now, McNamara picks it up here. Fumbles.
Oh,
incredibly, it was raining out. Look, everybody's staying aggressive. It's a 3-point game. All you're asking to do is hand off. That didn't happen. So we pick it up here. Walker again. I said his name a bunch of times. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 touchdowns in this game.
Man, he became the third person in MSU history to have 5 rushing touchdowns in a game. It was incredible.
And then what? No, you will not throw that ball over my head, good sire. I shall up, and away. Playing Superman here. McNamara picked off by Charles Brantley. That seals the game. Great control for him to get that ball in. Look at the celebration. Michigan State and Mel Tucker win this game 37-33. They win the Paul Bunyan Trophy. Cade McNamara, again, had a very good game. 28-44, 383. At one point, we were tweeting. Skubie and I were both sitting in the theater watching together today, and we were tweeting out McNamara. It was changing the conversation about him. But realistically, even when they were up 30-14, you looked at me and said, man, I still feel like Sparty's in this.
Yeah, and the crazy part about it in this game is that Michigan was winning just about every point of this game. They had more turnovers. They had more time of possession. I was looking at the stat at that point that I looked at you. MSU was 0 for 6 on third down with about 6 minutes left in the third quarter. And it's amazing to see that they were still able to pick it up and be in this game.
Yeah, I mean, there are a couple of things I want to make sure everybody knows here. Mel Tucker becomes the first head coach in Michigan State history to start his career 2-0 against Michigan. Beat him last year, beat him this year. He has 26 transfers on this roster. I've been saying it every week on this show, but they did not recruit well. I'm not going to make any bones about that. But what Mel Tucker did is said, fine, if we haven't recruited kids coming in, let's let's change the culture by going to the transfer portal. One of the guys they got there, obviously we just mentioned, Kenneth Walker III, has put himself squarely in the Heisman conversation with the record-setting 5-touchdown day. And frankly, he left some on the ground. Like, it was a slippery field. A couple of times he fell. He was untouchable today. You're looking at a Michigan State offense that's better than we've seen in the last few years, and a Michigan State offensive line. I think this is important, Skubie. We talked all week about the weapons for Michigan. Man, they handled those weapons. Now look what they got. They got at Purdue, they got Maryland, and then they'll have Ohio State coming up, Penn State coming up. They have 2 more games to prove it. But I think when the College Football Playoff Committee speaks on Tuesday, Michigan State's going to be higher than 8.
Yeah, and you got to be really impressed with what they did today, right? So Jalen Naylor ends up going down in this game, and what do? They go to Jaden Reed, and he ends up making some huge plays. 2 of them on that drive where he got them inside the 1-yard line. He had 2 catches on that same drive that ended up having to being looked at as a booth review, and they had to overturn them because those catches were so incredible. So they lean on him to be able to take care of things. Walker comes in, steps up, and the defense does as well.
Yeah, and I think we have to look at some point, and Jaden Reed's great point, 6 catches, 80 yards. It felt bigger than that. And it felt bigger than that at a spot where they needed him because it became so much about Kenneth Walker that it felt like Michigan was convinced they were going to try and take that away. I was stunned, and I do mean stunned, by the aggressive play calling. Twice, Michigan State on offense had 4th and short. Both times they threw the ball deep and got away with it. And even late in the game, on a 3rd and long, they sent a slow-developing corner blitz that nobody saw coming. Like, Michigan State had the you-know-whats to call whatever they wanted, wherever they wanted, and they believed in the guys to get it done. Really, really impressive.
I mean, MSU, they had a 16-point lead, right? I mean, Michigan had a 16-point lead in this game. And since 2004, Michigan is 89-1 in games where they lead by 16-plus points in the second half. So it goes to show that you guys had this game. You had it in your hands to win. At that point where they got that 16-point lead, you even said this game might be gone. But then all of a sudden, they score the touchdown. They get the 2-point conversion. They get a stop. They score another touchdown and get another 2-point conversion. So a lot of things had to work out in their favor, and it did.
Yeah, we'll keep drilling into this game. It's huge. But there's another big result out there. Everybody's waiting to see the number 1 team in all the land, 34-7. Georgia goes out with Stetson Bennett. Let's remember they're still not playing with the guy they thought would be their starting quarterback. And they just absolutely demolished Florida in a game that didn't feel this close. 34-7, and it really felt, frankly, like Georgia took their foot off the gas in the second half. Anthony Richardson, you see the stat line, 12 of 20 for 82 and 2 interceptions. Florida doesn't really have a quarterback right now that they trust. Emory Jones a little more efficient, but they don't have a quarterback, and Georgia's defense was going to feast on them. I thought it'd be a blowout. It was a blowout. Georgia's the number 1 team in the country.
Yeah, and they still stick like that. They do their job, and the thing about having that high ranking is you don't just have to win. You also have to make sure you win dominantly, because at this point in the time of the season, you have to impress the committee, right? And you know you got Alabama creeping up in there and a couple other teams in the top 4. So I love what Georgia's doing because they're taking care of business, and they're doing it the right way.
The craziest thing about Georgia today, to me, is that they made it feel easy. Like, it didn't even feel like they were trying that hard. It felt like it was like, yeah, it's cool, we got this. It felt more like what I expected in coming into the season, Georgia playing a team like Vandy than a team like Florida. I think that's a statement of Georgia and a little bit of statement of Florida. All right, meantime, the number 4 team in all the land, Oklahoma, was in action against Texas Tech.
Oklahoma.
Caleb Williams.
That's a bad man.
Oh, yeah, that is. And anytime you're out on that schooner, it always makes me a little nervous. I'm just saying. Sooners get the scoring started early, 2nd and 9 from the 22. Williams says,
doing Williams things.
It just runs around. I'm going to go. And he's got it. Swiggity swooty, went for the booty.
Bruh.
Sooners go up 7-0.
To think that this guy was a second-string quarterback.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's no doubt about this one. This was a beautiful play, though. Reach out and touch someone.
Boy.
E.T. phone home. Go up and get that ball. Izukama with the touchdown. Take another look at the hands. That ties it at 7. Now we pick it up in ensuing position, 2nd and 9. Williams hit Marvin Mims, maybe the best receiver in the country right now. Out route, Mims breaks a tackle, and then just turbo buttons it.
Reservations for 6, please. 4 catches, 135 yards, and 2 tutties for him today. Doing his thing. That's a lot of average on each catch.
Picking it up in the second and goal. Williams scrambles, finds Braden Willis in the back of the end zone this time. Lost him in the coverage. Can't let him stand around that line. Someone will get open. Sooners up 21-7 later in the second. Pass batted in the air.
It's always bad when the ball goes up in the air.
One of my favorite names. Intercepted by Pat Fields. It's just nice. Pat Fields. After their turnover, 2nd and 5. Play action. Williams found Drake Skubie for 12 yards. We got a final score there, 52-21.
Blowout.
That's where we ended. 52-21 is the final score. Oklahoma just blows out Texas Tech. So not a lot of surprise there, obviously, as it's a big day for Oklahoma offensively. They take care of business against the Texas Tech team that was outmanned.
Yeah, I mean, look at how many touchdowns that Williams ended up having on the day. I mean, just incredible to see this guy get the offensive get the team and then get the offensive flow going and then just completely turn himself into a Heisman candidate at this point, because he's really made us look at this Oklahoma team like, wow, they are top 4 and they are who they want to be right now.
I'm going to be a little bit of a contrarian on this one, just a little bit, though.
Okay,
because last week we saw Kansas. And I'm not going to erase Kansas from my mind. Like, Kansas left too much. Like, Kansas is like Skittles. Hear me out.
All right, that's
I love Skittles, right? And everybody loves Skittles. Like, come on, we're America. But Skittles were perfect when they had the lime in the package, because if you're sitting at the movie theater, you can reach in and you knew they'd all be sweet. Eventually, they replaced it with sour apple. Now, Skittles wised up and recently replaced sour apple again with lime.
Man loves his
Why?
candy.
Because like sour apple leaves this taste in your mouth that ruins the rest of the bag. Kansas is the sour apple Skittle in the bag of good. So like all these other flavors are really good, but the sour apple is Kansas. I can't get that out of my mind. I need to see more from Caleb Williams. I need to see more from Oklahoma before I'll just forgive the fact that they were on the verge of losing a Kansas game that took a miracle all-time college football play to figure out.
Yeah, and I agree with that. But then you look at this and kind of say they have an X factor in Williams. You know, you and I on the Monday Night Tailgate show, and we talked about Russell Wilson and how he has the effect of being able to kind of make up for the mistakes of the team and just pull a magician trick hat out of nowhere. You know what I mean? So Williams has been able to do that for this team. We saw him do it on 4th down. We're seeing him do it today. Just a number of those plays were almost magician-like, sneaking through the offensive line, the defensive line, and throwing touchdowns on the run. He was just tearing it up today, and I was really impressed.
And tearing it up is my ascot, by the way. This was not pre-tied. I had to tie it myself around a microphone.
That's impressive.
Feeling pretty proud of myself. Let's move on to Cincinnati, the number 2 team in all the land, taking on Tulane. Desmond Ridder. Our buddies Denise Schroff and Mike Golick Jr. did a nice job of the call in this game today. First quarter, Cincy pinned deep. Ridder finds Alec Pierce, makes a nice little catch. Look at this one again.
Grabbing it right at the highest point. That's what they coach receivers to do. Don't let the ball come down to you. You go up and get it.
Later in the game, Ridder finds Josh Wild here for the 16-yard touchdown.
Wide open.
Yeah, making it look easy. It was not an easy game, though.
Yep.
Second quarter, still 7-0. Cincy pinned deep. Ridder under pressure, gets sacked here. You just can't let that happen, Scoobs.
No, not at all, because when you go back into the back of the end zone like that, you got to have the thought in your head that, hey, we can get a safety here, so get rid of the ball.
Yeah, next possession, 47 yards. Spears runs into the house. That puts Tulane up 9-7. Now, it was 14-12 at the half. That is not a misspeak for me at once. 14-12 at the half since he was up. Third quarter, Ridder rolls out here and says, you know what, need to get some scoring going. Wide open touchdown again. He loves his tight end connection. That makes it 21-12, and that's where the wheels sort of started to fall off. Fourth quarter, up 21-12. Ridder finds Jerome Ford for the 26-yard touchdown. That makes it 31-12. I will give Tulane credit, because you see that was with about 4 minutes left. It was still close at that point, at least. But 31-12 feels like a blowout. The game itself did not feel like a blowout. And it raises a real question about, was this enough? Now, we're talking a lot about the College Football Playoff Committee because Tuesday is the beginning of the rankings. In fact, you can check out Rankings Reaction right here. Wherever you're watching us right now, you can come back and watch Mike Golick Jr., me, and Christine Williamson. We'll get you all the Rankings Reactions at 8 p.m. right here on Tuesday. But we're going to be reacting to whatever the committee decides. I've said for a long time, I think if the committee doesn't have a high ranking on Cincinnati, they're kind of up a creek, because everybody else has tough games left, right? Cincinnati doesn't have a lot of runway left. And I keep thinking winning with style. And like if they win, and if they look like you when they win, maybe they have a chance. If they look like me, I don't know. You know, I still don't know what Daphne saw in me. But did Cincinnati show you enough?
No, they did not show me enough, because we were just talking about it with Georgia, saying that you also have to do your job in terms of winning the game, and then you also have to make sure that you're doing it to the level of the talent that you're seen by the entire country. And in this game, you kind of look at it with Cincinnati and say, all right, the committee is a little bit biased against you. We know what it is. And your schedule is not that difficult. So you need to make sure you blow these teams out and show them that you're a dominant playoff team. Did they look like a dominant playoff team to you?
No, not at all. And one thing they ask in the committee, I've done the mock committee before, one question they always ask is, if this team, this group of 5 team, had played the same schedule as Georgia, the same schedule as Alabama, what would their record be? That's part of why the eye test matters so much to the committee, because they're looking at it trying to figure out if these guys at this height and speed and size were playing against the same teams Alabama was. And the answer to that is usually no. I'm left to wonder if we saw enough. I don't think we did.
Yeah, and that's exactly what comes to my mind, because we've looked at teams like Alabama, some teams that are, in that top 4, and I don't think they can match up to them.
Well, one team that can match up to them is Oregon. They played Colorado today. Oregon saying, don't forget about us. Look at this. Anthony Brown just looking intense, right? Right, here we go. Byron Caldwell running 34 yards. Those units look intense today. Yeah, I like this. Oregon goes up 14-0. That's sort of the theme of how this was going to go. Second quarter, we'll pick it up, same score. Anthony Brown under pressure. Under pressure. Runs around. Little Queen reference for you, kids. Look it up. David Bowie, too. Got his ankles, but you didn't get him down. Oh, that's a touchdown. Troy Franklin, 28-yarder. Ducks go up 20-0. In the third, Brown finds Devon Williams for 25 minutes.
Good, man.
So all of a sudden, we pick it up here, I should say, in the third quarter. This looks more like a long touchdown. Brown finds Devon Williams. There we go. Oregon, at that point, goes up big, 45-14. That's just a little snippet of what's to come. 52-29 is the final score.
That's how you get it done the way you're supposed to get it done.
Yeah, I mean, a 7-1 Oregon team has to be looking at all of this chaos ahead of them and saying, And let me say, Oregon is playing really, we keep talking about Ohio State and how good they're looking, and we'll get into that in a few minutes as we preview tonight's game. Oregon looks really solid right now. I mean, they are a more physical team than we give them credit for being. They have studs on the defensive side of the ball. We all know that, but they also have studs on the offensive side of the ball. It feels like they're just firing all cylinders. They are absolutely in sync at this point. So to me, Oregon needs a little bit more love.
And it's also about what time of the season do you pick it up and do you get in sync? And it looks like they've reached that point where they're all connected and they're doing the right things on both the offensive and defensive side. And you saw in the highlight, they were doing a great job.
Well, we're going to do a great job for this entire hour, I promise. But what we're going to get you ready for right now is the Horseshoe. That's right. Ohio State welcomes number 20 Penn State to the Horseshoe in primetime on ABC. Oh, it is always an electric scene. Plus, I can't wait to see the best damn band in all the land. Holly Rowe reporting from the sidelines for the game sent us this report.
We are here at the Horseshoe, Ohio State and Penn State, a huge game in the Big Ten today. The best damn band in the land, that's their official title, is getting ready behind us. This should be a really interesting game. Penn State coming off a 9-overtime loss. Their coach, James Franklin, said they practiced well this week. They got over that quickly and had a good practice on Wednesday. But Ohio State, they're rolling, averaging almost 50 points a game, 500 yards of total offense. We'll see if this Penn State defense can slow them down.
Oh, great work from Holly, as always. This is where I remind you, if you're watching this in the ESPN app, just make life easy. All you got to do is authenticate. You can say right here in the app, the game comes on for you. You don't have to go anywhere. You can watch the game directly here. Just tell them who your cable provider is, and we'll get you taken care of. In the meantime, for a big game, I think it's important. Holly just mentioned Ohio State's offense. They're rolling. They're taking on a Penn State defense that a week ago we were saying a lot of positive things for. And even though Penn State lost in 743 overtimes, don't Google it, it's a fact. Even though they lost in all those overtimes, that's still a talented defense, right? I expect this defense to really give us a test of how good the Ohio State offense is playing right now.
Exactly. And their defense seems to be the thing that they're leaning on right now because they have that. We don't know how Clifford is because ever since he got hurt in that Iowa game, it's almost like he hasn't been the same person. So I look at this as a game for Penn State to really let people know that they are still a good team and that their defense is going to need to step up and kind of lead them to wherever they need to get, hopefully victory.
You just saw the stat line there. C.J. Stroud, as he was warming up, 14 touchdowns, no picks over the last 3 games, as Ryan Day is on there. Ryan Day undefeated versus Big Ten opponents. I mean, when you just start talking about efficiency, I mean, we just forget that Ryan Day is taking over for Urban Meyer. There's been no drop-off at all.
Absolutely not.
That's insane to Ryan Day. It's also insane to C.J. Stroud, and I think a little bit of a fairness here, accepting that it was going to take him a second to get ready to get into this position. It also helps when you're playing quarterback and you got that guy catching passes from you, because Chris Olave is a game changer. We all know that. I expect him to be able to play like a game changer. I mean, if you look at Vegas says this game isn't going to be close. And I'm not sure Vegas is wrong, because it really feels like the weapons for Ohio State are so good. And I'm not sure, as much as we all love Dotson on the show, right? Like, I'm not sure that Penn State can score enough points to keep up with Ohio State.
I mean, who else are they going to have really be that game changer for them besides Dotson?
Yeah, I mean, and Clifford's a dog. But I don't think he can do it. Now, in the meantime, let's have a real conversation about James Franklin. I want to be fair here for a second, because every single coach that's at a high-level program is asked about other jobs. In fact, it's one of the things that I tweeted out today that I think is dumb about what's happening to Michigan State already today. Mel Tucker beats Michigan, and all of a sudden, he's headed to LSU. That's just what we do. But realistically, coaches have to answer questions about it all the time. So the questions about USC and the drop job rumors came up a lot this week. That's something that was handled differently by different coaches. I want you to see what Mike Tomlin had to say about it. Check this. This is his quote. I'll say it with some of his sass, right? I don't have time for that speculation. I mean, that's a joke to me. I got one of the best jobs in all of professional sport. Why would I have any interest in coaching college football? That'll be the last time I address it. Not only today, but moving forward. Never say never, but never.
Too legit to quit his job.
I mean, Mike Tomlin made it clear. And, in fact, said some things at the end of his quote about the other coaches that aren't asked these, in his mind, stupid questions. He made it clear. He ain't going anywhere. He's not interested in anything. He made it definitive. That's important, because I want you now to see how James Franklin reacted to the same type of questions that he's being asked yet again about his interest in the USC job.
I just always want to be able to, when I say something, it's done, and it's in stone. And when you're talking about the future, that can be challenging at times. So I am fiercely loyal to Penn State. I am fiercely loyal, most importantly, to these players and the staff. But there's a lot of moving parts with all of these things. There's a lot of moving parts, some of which we have talked about in the past.
So his answer is, when I tell you something, I want to be able to be definitive, and can't really do that. And there's a lot of moving parts. Like, what the hell does that mean? I mean, just say what you're going to say. Like, at this point, what he's telling you is he's going to coach somewhere, just wherever he gets paid the most money to do it.
You know, the big thing that stood out for me is you say all this, and then you hit me with the yeah, but. As soon as you say but, come on, bro. That means everything else that you said is pretty much not official, because at the end of the day, he's being a smart guy and he's leaving some type of hope and money on the table. You feel me? So he's going to say that he's kind of interested, not interested, but Tomlin kept it a buck.
Yeah, a lot of these coaches use rumors as an opportunity to get a raise, but I also have to look at USC and say, hey, why? Why are you doing this? Like, why is everybody coveting James Franklin to the point that we're in this conversation constantly? Like, Penn State at this point at 5-2 and number 20 in the country is not where most people thought they could be, should be, or would be coming into this year. And in one of the craziest years we've ever seen in college football, they're basically on the outside looking in every single equation. So it's still with one of the best players in the entire landscape of college football. Like a Biletnikoff finalist, you're talking about, when you talk about Jahan Dotson, you are talking about possibly the best wide receiver in the year.
Yeah.
And still, are we sitting here saying that, Penn State has figured out a way to utilize him and maximize him? I don't know.
No, I don't think so. And the thing about Jahan is I've known him since actually he was a little kid in Pop Warner. And I talk to his family sometimes, and his cousin has said to me that, I wish that they would use him in different ways. This doesn't come from Jahan. This is just his cousin who loves to watch football. But he's saying, I wish they would use him in other ways and get him the ball in different ways, because I don't feel like they have utilized him to the maximum potential.
All right, so I've got Ohio State in this one. Who you got?
Ohio State.
Yeah, we both agree that we're going to go Ohio State on this one. I think Ohio State actually is going to win big. So that's our picks on what we're expecting here. You guys can watch this, obviously, tonight. Watch Penn State versus Ohio State, bottom of the hour on ABC. All you got to do is sign in to your cable provider. You can have all the fun right here in the ESPN app. All right, we're going to head back to the field with more highlights. Duke, Wake Forest, number 13 Wake Forest, undefeated Wake Forest.
Wake Forest scored 70 last week.
Sam Hartman, friend of the show, he joined us on the wrap-up last week. If you don't watch that, you should every single week. 38-yard touchdown here. Later in the first, Hartman drops back. Nobody open. says, you know what? I can press the turbo button too. Anything you can do, I can do better. Bam! Touchdown.
It's a beard game.
Yeah, it is. I mean, his beard is strong. If you haven't seen it, it is quality. He's I'm pretty sure he's a male model on the side. Picking it up here, it's 14-0. Another big run. Look at this. I mean, and he even trucks him. He's like, you know what? I'll drop my shoulder. You can't stop me. And pick it up here.
Man, he's having a really good last couple of weeks. This offense is exploding. 28 points in the first half. Incredible.
Yeah, and they're up 21-0 right there. And then you decide, you know what? I like running for him. I also like throwing for him. I'll get you all the points every single way. Here, Hartman's going to go deep to A.T. Perry. Look at this big gainer. Effortlessly throws it. Doesn't really have a chance to step in. Oh, it's a beautiful, beautiful move there.
He told him he's a little guy.
Christian Beal-Smith here says, I also like to score. Thank you very much, good sir.
Sir, I would like reservations for 6, please.
That makes it 35-0. 45-7. That's right, 45-7. Wake Forest absolutely dominates. The problem is I'm not sure there's much left on Wake Forest's schedule moving forward, but they dominate. Why is there not much left on their schedule? Because of the next game, Miami taking on Pittsburgh.
Yep.
We'll just forget that on the kickoff yesterday we talked about Pittsburgh and what their playoff chances could be. Oops. Kenny Pickett hosted number 17. Pitt hosted Miami.
Reverse trick play pass. I love when coaches dial these things up.
I mean, and just Van Dyke absolutely finds him there. 57-yard touchdown. The Hurricanes up 14-7. They're up 31-7 at the half. 31-7. But Pitt says, hey, we've got a Heisman Trophy type candidate with Pickett. Spins out.
He played like it too, man. He was having a really good game. Just check out this throw on the run and throwing across the body almost. That's incredible.
Yeah, absolutely great work for him. He had over 400 yards passing in this game by the time they hit the third quarter. There's another touchdown for him right there. And suddenly we're tied at 31. But Miami says, not so fast. Van Dyke finds Keyshawn Smith.
We out here.
Oh, just well done. And then celebrate, young man. You got it. 38-31. Miami goes up. Fourth quarter. Pickett, I think. It's Wilson. That's a music reference.
Man.
Wilson Pickett for you guys. Google it. I promise. There's a big interception there. Miami gets it. Pickett finishes with 519 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, but 2 interceptions, and suddenly you see the handshakes. You see the way this thing ends. 38-34. Number 17 Pitt falls to Miami. Now that has consequence to the entire ACC because I'll say this again. I've been saying this all week, but college football fans, what do you want? Like everybody sits there and says, "Oh, we're bored. We don't want Clemson to go every year." And then Clemson stinks, and now it's like, but all these other teams suck. Like, what do you guys want? Like, we're in this world where Wake Forest is running through the way. And I go, ape. But at some point, I look at this and I'm like, you know what? At the end of the day, what we've got to look for is a great team for the opportunity to shine through. I don't know if Wake Forest is a great team because they haven't played anybody. Exactly. And we're not going to know if Wake Forest is a great team by the end of the year because they're not going to play anybody, Skubie. Like, it's just, I'm sitting there looking at it saying, what the hell do we actually know about them?
Yeah, what we know about them is that they can put up points. What we know about them is that they got an offense. But then another thing that we know about them, like you said, is they haven't really played great teams. And the rest of their schedule is not impressive for them to be able to make a case to get them exactly where they need to be able to go to make a strong case to the committee or anybody else that they are a legit team.
I am legit sweating under this wig, by the way. Like there's a point where a wig becomes a bad idea. And we're quickly getting to that spot now. Like I got sweat coming down the pits. How are you doing over there, MC Hammer?
I'm cool, man. I'm cool, and it's hammer time.
And he's wearing the sunglasses the whole show. Very committed to it. All right, Iowa taking on Wisconsin. Number 9, Iowa. Just remember that. Number 9, Iowa. Graham Mertz is going to start our highlight package up here. Little play action. Really sold it well. Finds him wide open in the back of the end zone. Jake Ferguson gets his feet down. Wisconsin goes up 7-0.
I love that. A Tony toe tapping.
Oh, look at that. And then hands it off here. Braylon Allen breaks off a big run. Finally stopped by the kicking net.
Oh, my Lord.
That's regrettable.
We might have to bring him for that.
Gonna have to help. Yeah. I mean, we got to bring the sideline guys too for putting that. Never put the net that close to the sideline unless that helps. I like the one coach gets out of the way. Like he's pumping his fist getting out of the way. Not trying to help anybody here. Second quarter, Petrus strip sacked here. He drops back. Doesn't feel the rush coming around there. That's going to be huge because this is already a 10-0 game, and now all of a sudden you've given Wisconsin the opportunity. But Wisconsin turned the ball over on downs, so you think everything's fine. They're going to be just fine. Problem is, fumble!
Mistakes, but this game they were making mistakes.
Yeah, and we've talked so often about whether or not Iowa can handle elite athleticism. They couldn't handle whatever Wisconsin.
This guy don't look happy.
Oh, but you know what? I appreciate the wig. Like, he stayed committed to the wig.
Hey, the wig game.
27-7 is our final here. Wisconsin beats Iowa. And I mean, Wisconsin smacks Iowa. Like, Wisconsin demolishes Iowa. I mean, I don't know what else we can say other than Iowa has shown us now for the second time. And we've been laughing about the rankings for Iowa throughout the course of it. This is what Iowa is. Iowa's a pretty good football team. And like in the SEC, pretty good football team gets everybody fired. For Iowa, it's like, no, we're a pretty good football team. We're going to lose 2-3 games a year, and it's going to be okay. Like, that's who Iowa is. They're not great. They're not terrible. They're just so-so. They're going to end up in a mid-level bowl on a mid-level game for a mid-level team playing in the middle of the teens.
And they're going to win that game and then probably end the season within the top 15, top 12. It's almost like we see the same story every year for Iowa. And that concern for that team, which we've talked about all season, is do they have game breakers? Do they have playmakers? Change the game completely for them. And I haven't seen that too much this year. They do have guys who are above average football players, but we haven't been able to see somebody like Mims or somebody at the quarterback position who can just take over like Williams.
Yeah, and that's at the end of the day, every year we're going to fall for this. And I wanted great things for Iowa because I love chaos. I just don't know that we're going to see it. No. I do know that we always see a battle between Texas and Baylor. We got another one today.
This is a good one.
Yeah, it was. Casey Thompson going deep. Xavier Worthy, look at this one.
Yes, sir, he is worthy. Xavier Worthy, just like MC Hammer, says you can't touch this.
Oh, look at that. I like that he is worthy. Oh, and he gives us a Karate Kid right there. Fourth quarter. Ben Sims coming off the motion. Look at that. Ooh, look at that. Getting clever with the. Abram Smith spins out here. Presses the O button.
Oh, spin move. The O button. That's how I know you play Madden.
Yeah, Skubie and I, big Madden players, by the way. We're going to bring that up in the show every week. Baylor up 31-21 right now. We pick it up. Thompson rolls out. Tries to squeeze it in there. Pass broken up. Baylor beats Texas 31-24. An important win for Baylor, by the way, in Skubie, because I keep thinking about right? Like, Texas is just sort of stuck in the middle of everything. Baylor is trying to really assert something, and you and I talked about it while we were watching the games. Like, Baylor is a really, like, I know this is sort of like saying, you know, she has a nice personality. Baylor's a solid football team. I mean, they're just solid.
Yeah, and I've seen Baylor in person, and I've watched what they've been able to do. And Aranda is doing a phenomenal.
I got nothing.
Aranda is doing a solid job with that team. His first year with them, he had to deal with the COVID year. Coming from LSU, he's with that championship team, and they dealing with COVID. He ends up coming back this year, and it's like he's figured out exactly how he wants this team to be, and he's got them playing. He's great on defense, great on offense, and that quarterback play is even stepping up more.
And this is the true essence of this show. Like, Skubie, total professional, has covered the game at a high level, has played the game at a high level. Me, idiot, can't see anything through my wig. That's where we are, Skubie. All right, speaking of idiocy, let's get to a little bit of fun. Let's bring in the cow. It's time for Holy Cow, where we watch plays and we rate plays. You ready for this one? You feeling good about it?
Yeah, I'm ready, Freddie.
Are we going to be generous this week?
Ready, Freddie. Hey.
Because I'm Fred from Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
His name is Skubie, in case you're just tuning in. All right, let's start with a little bit of action here. Skubie, you can score the first one. Matt McDonald finds Christian Mims on the screen. We showed this at the beginning. Look at this. He says, Optimus Prime.
Boy. Ooh, that's a strong
Christian Sims with that, yeah.
That looked like that hurt. But here's the thing about this play for me, right? It seems like he just had the sideline, and he's just so big and strong that this was just him being really big and strong. So I'm going to give this a good score. 83, though. 83.
83? Oh. 83. The Buffalo did not roam on that. See what I did for that for Buffalo? Okay.
Oh, yeah,
I'll be here all week. Try the veal. I'm going to get on the scoring fun here with a little bit of Cincy action. We're going to go to Desmond Ridder, finding Alec Pierce for the 37-yard gain. Look at this. Look at this Spider-Man. Spider-Man does whatever Spider-Man does. Just gets up there and tacks the ball down.
I mean, a few good things for Cincinnati in this game, huh?
Yeah,
Way to
that
make
was
them
nice.
play.
It was nice ball control, a really elegant movement. I feel like I'm watching a ballerina on the sideline just tap dancing there, a little Fred Astaire.
Tap it.
I'm only giving it an 83, though.
All right, so we both go 83
Yeah,
for the
sticky
first
gloves.
two.
Sticky gloves, you know, like he reaches up, he gets it.
You always got something to say about the
I know,
gloves.
I know. It's my only hope because of my lack of personal athleticism. All right, Skubie, you're next. Cade McNamara here. Oh, Angelo Anthony.
He was playing like a man amongst boys. The freshman from East Lansing, playing at home, stepped up and made some plays. Look at that. Look at this cat, too.
Oh.
Strong hands. Little boy. You know what? I'm going to give him an A-, a 90. This deserves a 90.
I like that. He reached up and he squeezed the fruit. I mean, we saw a lot of that today, like guys getting up and squeezing the football, like, you're not getting this out of my hands. I like that. All right, that was a strong play. Speaking of strong plays, Carson Strong here, see what I did?
Ooh.
Finds Cole Turner for the touchdown. I love that we're running a highlight.
Nice.
I'm a lifelong diehard UNLV fan for like 3 weeks, and this is what we do to me. Still, he only needed one hand. Oh,
nice snag, man.
That you know what? That one gets a 90.
Oh.
I'm giving that one a 90.
So are you just copying me? Is that what we're doing now?
Right now, it kind of feels like it. It feels like that's happening as we go. But no, I like that. You know, the action, like laying up the form on it was good. All right, Skubie, you're back up. Cade McNamara picked off. Oh, this one sealed the game.
Man. Hey, that's a playmaker type play right there, especially in a key moment. Love this incredible game between these two teams, and it was a classic, most definitely. The ball, it kind of fell in his hands, and it was just a terrible pass. I mean, McNamara even said himself he shouldn't have thrown it. So I'll give it a 92. That's a great score still, but terrible
We
pass.
are hard judges today. Hard judges. All right, I'm going to pick this up and see if I can get us a better score. And to do that, we're going to need Henry Colombi. Finding Eric Izukama. Look at this one. We showed it earlier.
Ooh.
Speaking of getting up there, and he's like, you know what? I like my juice freshly squeezed, just like my footballs. You will not take this from me, good sir. I will squeeze it through to control of the ground.
And just like Allstate, your boy's got good hands.
No,
nice catch.
Look at that. Look at that. 98, I'm giving it. Because the guy's like dragging him down. He's got a million opportunities to
98.
drop that football. He doesn't drop it.
We raising the bar. We raising the bar.
Yeah, that was a Reese's peanut butter cup.
I mean, there's only two more numbers here, so I hope this play is impressive.
All right, Lawrence Tuafili breaking a tackle. Oh, look at this coming. Florida State taking on Clemson. Nope.
Stand. Tony Tippy-tapping. Oh, that was impressive. The balance, being able to have the awareness to know that your knee or elbow or booty did not touch the ground, and he kept it going. I'm going to give this triple digits, Fitz.
Oh,
triple digits.
Our first 100. Wow.
100.
That is strong work. I'm with you on that, though. That was a powerful, like, the fact that he rolls over him and then also dances on the sideline with the level of balance, I sure will never know. That's what happens. It's the College Football Show presented by AT&T 5G. He's Skubie Mageza. I'm Jason Fitz. He's actually MC Hammer, and I'm Fred. Skubie, Fred. Didn't work. It didn't happen. All right, Georgia, 34-7 over Florida. That's one of our big scores so far today. Obviously, remember when this used to be a rivalry? The one good thing is I don't have to make up any Florida-Georgia line quotes. Now I can just cruise by it.
Yeah.
That's a FGL song.
And that's exactly what Georgia did. They cruised by this game, 34-7. Way to carry on and do what you do as a number one team in the country.
And this is a shameless plug just for a good friend. But Elle Duncan, you should check out her social media handles. She now has a cover band that sings songs trash-talking people on Saturdays after Georgia wins football games. So I'm not sure with the World Series going on that it still happens today, especially this. But in all seriousness, we have high expectations. Coming into the season, we at least had moderate expectations for what Florida was going to be capable of. And we were reminded today that Georgia lives in a completely different universe than Florida all day, every day. It was an embarrassment for Florida.
Yeah, and I think back to when the season started, when Alabama was number one. And they had some games where they struggled. And we always said, you know what, Georgia really does look like the top team. And they've proved it, and they've shown it.
Well, it is time for us to show you something new. All right, you ready for this? It is time now for our AT&T countdown to the CFP National Championship. Let's take a look at Michigan versus Michigan State from earlier today as both teams are looking to march into the CFP. And that right there, Kenneth Walker had himself a day. 23-yard touchdown, 5 touchdowns today. Look at this one again.
See you in New York, because you better get that boy an invite for that Heisman.
Just over a minute left. Michigan trying to answer. Cade McNamara had a nice day, but this pass, nope, wasn't going to get there. Charles Brantley with the great pick. Look at that, extending out.
Give me that.
Go Gadget Arms manages to keep
like
it.
That. Go Gadget Arms.
Da-da-da-da-da. All right, so that's a 37-33 win for the Spartans, and that's huge as we go in to the College Football National Championship Playoff Committee and the way that they're going to select everything. I mean, when you look at it at the end of the day, I said coming into today that this game would give a team the opportunity to have one of, if not the best wins of the year. I think Michigan State just did that. I think we're going to find out that Michigan State is being highly valued from the committee because they passed the eye test more weeks than not, because they have enough weapons on offense to play with anybody. They showed that today, not just Walker, but other guys on the team also. And their defense played well enough. Like, we all know Michigan can run the ball, and Michigan did run the ball some today. And Cade McNamara played well today. But for all the conversation about that, Michigan State held up for it. And now Mel Tucker finds himself undefeated. Like, I'm a little stunned to sit here and say 8-0 Michigan State.
Yeah, and Jim Harbaugh now 3-9 versus Michigan State, Ohio State, and Michigan. So he struggles in the Big Ten, and this is his chance to get a signature win. This is his chance to bring Michigan within that top 4 and basically be where he wants this program to be. But now we see Mel Tucker coming in with this team, getting them a huge win on a huge day, and it was a classic type of game, just completely impressive, and they overcame adversity too. That's the thing that I like about this win the most, is because they were fighting an uphill battle at one point, being down 16 points, coming back and winning this game.
I think one of the keys that I've mentioned a lot with Sparty, and I mentioned it earlier, when you talk about 26 transfers, it speaks to the new culture they're trying to bring in. What's interesting is that when you have a great year, ask LSU about this, when you have a great year, it allows you to have such an advantage for future recruiting, right? I just keep thinking about all the kids today that Michigan State's trying to get so that they can sustain this success, that saw Mel Tucker, that saw that environment, that saw that game, that saw these playmakers, that say, yeah, I want to be a part of that. Like, there are certain wins you can look at and say, hey, that was a catapulting opportunity. I think today that's what happened for Michigan State. It catapults them. Yeah. All right, let's take a look now at Ole Miss taking on number 18, Auburn. That's happening right now on ESPN. You guys can check that game out. 14-3 early on. And two of the most difficult things to figure out for me. I'm trying to figure out, oh, look at that. Look at that. Whew. I don't think Bo Nix drew it up that way.
Does not look like it did.
Oh, man.
It's to hurt.
And yeah, we've got an injury on the field. So that is a worst-case scenario. I'm really trying to find out how legit Ole Miss can be in this process. Look at the ranking at number 10. And we just sort of forget the fact that they are number 10. So, you know, they've got a lot on the line. Nobody really landed on that ankle. Wow. What do you see, Scoop?
Wow. I don't know. Hopefully it's nothing bad, because let's take another look at it. Oh, there it is. Oh, man. That is you know, those non-contact injuries, it looked like he was just trying to get away. I don't want to assume anything, but it may be just a tweak of some sort, but it did not look good.
Yeah, and when you start talking about Matt Corral and what he means to this Ole Miss offense, it's really about control, right? Like, he has such an understanding of Lane Kiffin's offense, how it's going to run, the way they want to run it. This is worst case scenario, obviously,
of course,
for Ole Miss and for Ole Miss fans, taking on an Auburn team that is very much like Bo Nix, very inconsistent. You know, we've said on this show, I've said for about 2 years now, Bo give it, then Bo take it away. Like, there are times that Bo Nix wins.
Are they holding his knee? Does it look like they're holding his knee? Because that's definitely not good. You know, you hate those injuries because it looked like his knee caved in a little bit, and usually it's not good news when you see those type of injuries. So I hope he's okay. I hate to see players get hurt because I've had 2 knee injuries myself, but I'm hoping he's okay. But on the ground like that, needing that much help, it's...
Yeah, and you know, there's a moment here where, and I'll loudly say, as I constantly do, that anybody that questions the toughness of a college football player should just stay out of my menchies because you're an idiot. But at the end of the day, like, we have to remember how tough these guys are. And when you see them writhing in pain, it hits different, right? Because, you know, obviously he's not okay. And this is going to be huge. You can see it on Kiffin's face, too, you know, as you try and figure out how you negotiate your offense, and
Oh no, damn. Yeah, that's those non-contact injuries, man. Especially when your leg awkwardly turns in the way that it did for him. It's not pretty.
Hopefully it's something he can shake off. Hopefully it's something that is not as bad as it looks. You see the stats there. Corral 5 of 7 for 54. Tank Bigsby 10 rushes, 70 yards, and right now Auburn up 14-3. We will keep you updated on the injury updates as well as the game overall as we continue the show. All right, we've celebrated the good, like our costumes, MC Hammer and Fred. We've celebrated the good. Now it's time to celebrate the bad, and we do that the way only we can. Bruh, delivered by Pizza Hut. Let's take a look at some of the more questionable moments today. We start with Troy forcing a 4th down. One of the coaches so fired up. He's big on this. Watch this, MC Hammer. He comes over and says, yeah,
Oh, it's really hammer time for that, coach. Bruh, come on. I know you're pumped up, but you ain't got no helmet on your head. You better watch out.
please, Hammer, don't hurt him. Oh, it's just going to keep going.
There's a chance. Get it right.
All right, let's go on next to Cincinnati. Now, we picked this one up at their own end zone, 3rd and 10. Desmond Ridder tries to escape the pressure. Instead, he says, zoinks.
Oh, no.
And boom.
Come on, bro. You know you're in the back of the end zone. Why are you even backing up to go towards the edge?
Yeah,
That's
just ask Orlovsky. That never works out the way you want it to. Sorry, Dan. You know I love you. Miss you a minute. All right. We'll take a look next. Casey Thompson here. Casey Thompson's going to find Joshua Moore in the end zone. Now, that sounds like a good thing here, right? But the problem is Moore forgets. You got to catch it.
Oh, my. Gotta make the catch.
Oh,
come on, bro.
Well done, man.
Hey, you like that one?
Maybe if he was wearing parachute pants, it would have worked out better. Look at the reaction,
the
by
crowd
the way,
knows.
From the cheerleaders. And then, next play. This is the very next play of the game. Whoop! Bang. And that, just like that, one hit wonder goes away. That's what happens.
Hits even harder now because you go from having 7 to maybe 3 and nothing.
We're too legit to quit here, so we'll move on to Wisconsin taking on Iowa. Look at this one. Braylon Allen runs for a big gain, but then at the end,
Hey, he got lucky because the net was there. The person on the sideline got lucky because they're the one that was going to get hit.
Yeah, if only there had been a whole crew of backup dancers that could have made it all easy. Yeah. And then we will end, with one more. Going to Miami. 3rd and 6, trying to extend their lead. Tyler Van Dyke throws, gets picked off. Now, you could say, okay, fine, he had nowhere to throw the ball.
My.
The problem is, 2 guys slipped and fell. Look at that again. You'll see wide receiver 1 on the ground.
And 2.
And then notice on the ground. You got to stand up if you want to catch the ball.
Yeah, and 2 guys falling, causing a pick on the play. That was not hammer time. That was bad time. That was a bad time.
This is not going to stop all throughout the portion of That's what we do here. All right, let's get you caught up on some of the scores happening right now. Ohio State, Penn State just kicked off. That's nothing. Auburn, we just told you, up 14-3. We'll keep you updated on injury news as we get it. And Houston pummeling SMU 17-0 early in a game that has consequence for everybody keeping an eye on the future ranking. So that's just some of what's going on as we speak. Now let's get to a live look. And Penn State has just turned over the football against Ohio State. Worst case scenario, right, Skubie?
Can't do that. We talked about what that offense has to be able to do this game, and they just have to take care of the ball. Their defense has to get them the ball, not the other way around.
Yeah, and we've got back-to-back turnovers in this game. So it looks like Ohio State turned it over, then Penn State turned it over. Now Ohio State's like, you know what, this is fun, but we'd like to play to our own guys. Oh, almost had another one.
I thought it was going to be timed up perfect for them scoring right there. But, man, Ohio State is a really dangerous offense, and you can't give them opportunities to be able to be on the field. One of the best ways to beat a team like this is to keep their offense off the field. That's one of the best defenses against a good offense, is to not let that offense step on the field.
Yeah, and I think we have to acknowledge, I said it earlier, like C.J. Stroud came in with really high expectations for a young guy. Takes a couple of weeks sometimes for guys to get adjusted, right? And again, I'll keep going back to what the committee considers. They do take things like that into consideration. Like, what was your background? What's your moment? How are you playing right now? Like, we are seeing a better version of C.J. Stroud every single week, which happens when you're throwing to Olave. Like, I get better because I throw to Skubie. He gets better because he throws to Olave. That's just the way it works.
Great point. I'm getting better because you're throwing to me. But at the end of the day, right now is that time of the year where you have to step up your play. You have to show the committee that, hey, we're a team that deserves to be in that top 4. And when I think about that top 4, we talked about Cincinnati earlier. We think, are they a top 4 team? Are they going to be able to compete with some of those power programs? Or are they going to get in the college football playoff and then get blown out 45-0? Because we want to see good games for that college football playoff.
Could you imagine Group of 5 fights, finally gets in, and it turns out to be like a Cincinnati-Georgia rematch. Georgia's really mad. Georgia runs them 60-0, and it's like then it becomes the Notre Dame conversation every year where it's like, well, you can't win a playoff game, so you should. Like, this is just the inevitable craziness of college football. A big defensive play here.
Yeah, there they are,
stepping
up. There's that defense, and that defense is going to be the strong part of their team now. Their offense is still trying to find a groove some way, somehow.
Yeah, this is a little bit here. I say often, you want strength on weakness. This is strength on strength. This is the best of Penn State against the best of Ohio State. This is going to be the interesting chess match, I think.
Yeah, and it's also about, what is your team calling on offense? I love this play call right here, and they're drawing it up. They just got it to their back. Great push-out block right there, and now they're getting a 3rd and 7 from a 2nd and 14. I'll take that all day.
Yeah, such a manageable approach to down and distance. Love it, everybody. The amount of communication that goes on, but they're still putting the thing in front of their face. That's always, always laugh.
Yeah, that's how you know you're a coach with some secrets up your sleeve, right?
Mm-hmm. That's a poorly delivered ball there. Got to do better there. 0-0. But again, it is incredibly early in this game. Obviously, we will let you know what happens as it happens. We'll keep you updated on absolutely everything going on. If you're just tuning in and you're trying to figure out what in the H-E-double hockey sticks you're watching, it's MC Hammer. I'm Fred. That's the way it goes. No, actually, he's Skubie Mageza. I'm Jason Fitz, and we are the College Football Show presented by AT&T 5G. We're in Halloween costume, and thought we'd have a little bit of fun. It'll be part of the show throughout the course of the night. That being said, you've also, if you've ever watched the show, you know our good buddy Harry Douglas. You can now watch Harry as part of Countdown to Game Day with Christine Williamson in the mornings. He crushed it today, and congrats to Christine, who did great stuff not just on Countdown, but also on Game Day today. So a big day for the digital family. In the meantime, though, Harry and I had the opportunity to recently hang out and talk about food. We're going to do some of that now. It's time for our food tour presented by Twisted Tea. All right, it is time. When you think sports, when you think football, you think tailgate, which makes me think wings.
Not just any wings, chicken wings.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. And you're an Atlanta guy.
Yeah.
You're passionate about your wings.
Yeah, down south, this is a main thing. We're known for our chicken wings. Every corner you may drive on, you see a chicken wing spot here, chicken wing spot there, chicken wing spot there, chicken wing spot everywhere.
All right, so what makes a perfect Atlanta chicken? Because these are not Atlanta chicken wings. So you're gonna be a hard judge on this. What makes a perfect Atlanta chicken wing?
Well, I'm gonna show you. We're gonna start with all flats.
Okay, well,
they have to be all flats.
And they sell them as all flats in
All
Atlanta?
flats.
Right?
You pay 50 cents extra, but they're all flats. I'm gonna lick my fingers. All flats, extra crispy with some ranch.
What do you have against drumsticks though?
I don't like them.
Okay, that's fair. That's it.
That's
it. Now you'll notice, as similar as we are, we're very different in one thing because I, my friend, have the chunky blue cheese here.
That is terrible.
You've got ranch, which is...
I don't know. See, sometimes we make bad decisions in our lives.
Ranch?
That's just one of the bad decisions in your life.
Everything about ranch is
You do so many amazing things, except this one thing right here.
That's glorified mayonnaise. That's what you're just dipping your ranch in mayo.
Tastes good to me.
We'll do this individually. I'll show you. I mean, I can learn you something if you want, or you can just
He took it back to grandma. He took it back to grandma. Don't make me learn you, boy. Don't make me learn you.
All right, so show me what you think the perfect way to eat a flat is.
The first way, it's just old traditional style. You dip it right there.
Okay.
Right? And since this is my bowl, it's okay to double dip. Second, we just do it right here.
I see, but you can eliminate this if you eat them. Okay.
All right.
Which is why we can't. That's why, no. There's one way to eat these things, right? You come in right here.
You get to this little spot, right? When you get to that spot, you just rip it apart, right? Once you've ripped it apart, now I got halves. Now I'm not double dipping anything because now you just go, and then go, I didn't double dip.
You look a little sadiddy doing that though. A little sadiddy. I don't really want to get nasty with my wing eating, you know.
I mean, you're not wrong about that.
Well, here's
Like, they
another
are
way.
kind of messy.
Here's another way.
I prefer my.
We're gonna take this wing, and we're just gonna push that good old meat down like that right there. You see? You push
That's
that.
just like what?
Push that good old meat down.
How many napkins you put on the table?
Yep.
I mean,
And you rip. There
Right.
you go. See?
I mean that just feels again like see. look,
Obviously, we
Take
know
it.
who's not scared to get a little dirty here.
Take it, break
Oh,
it,
my goodness.
dip it,
Where you going?
enjoy it.
To the prom?
You asking? I mean, one thing that I can be sure of is that we've ordered wings before as we prep the show. And what Harry's not telling you is that he doesn't like his wings spicy.
I
Right?
don't. Spicy wings are not for me. That's why I like them mild, extra crispy, flats with my ranch.
Well-
ladies and gentlemen, that is the best way to eat chicken wings. Don't listen to Taste Fitz. Listen to your boy. I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah, listen to Harry if you're with your guys. Listen to me if you're on a date, though. This is a much more civilized way to do it.
Harry's got all those napkins because he's got that NFL napkin money. All right, here are the ranked teams in action right now. Again, nothing. Penn State, Ohio State, Notre Dame, North Carolina. You can see all that. I think right now the biggest surprise, Houston up on SMU, although that went from 17-0 to 17-7. So SMU trying to make it a game, and Cincinnati giving them a tip of the hat to see where it goes. Why is Cincinnati giving them a tip of the hat? Because we're always thinking about the top four. That's what realistically happens this time of year. So I'm going to rank the top four teams in college football. And
Let's
this
hear
is
it. Let's hear it. This better not be scary.
Let me say here, you can see it on the screen. My top four is very simple. It's Georgia at number one because they've deserved it and they're undefeated and they are clearly the best team in the country. Alabama is number two because if I had to risk my entire career and every dollar I was
Say
ever
it
going to
all
make
the
for the
time.
rest of my life on a neutral field between Alabama and any of the rest of these teams, I'm still taking Alabama right now. Like
Yeah,
it's
my
just,
money.
Like that. There we go. Ohio State, pending tonight's action, I've got it number three, and Michigan State coming off of a huge win against Michigan. Number four. Now, you can tell me it's recency bias. I'll tell you two things. Number one, the committee's told every week to reconsider everything, right? Like, so right away, they're told, like, okay, just consider this week as a clean slate. So, of course, there's recency bias. But number two, Michigan State, Cincinnati, neutral field. Who would you put all your money on?
Simple. Michigan State.
Right.
Especially with that running game, especially with that defense and that momentum that they got going on right now. So I think your top four is the right top four because I think the committee is going to look at what Cincinnati did these last couple of weeks and say,
And look, Oklahoma, I think, has a real shot at being in this first top four. I left them out because, like I said earlier, Kansas still has a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
Now, Michigan State's had a couple of weird games this year, too. But, you know, I think all of these, if you're in the top 5, 6, you're going to be happy. The problem is for Cincinnati, if they're sitting in the top 6, but not in the top 4, I'm not sure they have the runway left. So I hope that Cincinnati finds it into the top 4 because I think that's good for college football. If I were a voter, I wouldn't put them there because, yeah, I got to give them the top 2. All right, or top 4. And remember, it's the best of the most deserving. All right, let's get you a look in here at what's happened. We start with Tank Bigsby being the tank.
move, Tank Busy. That's a big boy getting busy.
I was going to move, get out the way. And now, of course, a serious moment in this game. Matt Corral scrambling. Something happens with his leg, with his knee. We can't tell with his calf or his ankle. What we know is that he wasn't able to put any weight on it. He wasn't able to get himself off the field. Had to be helped to the sideline. We are awaiting an update, but they did have to put him on the cart, and the cart has taken him completely off the field. So it's 14-3 right now. Auburn is ahead in this game. And obviously, this game matters for number 18 Auburn, number 10 Ole Miss. But right now, you've got to think that everybody is holding their breath to figure out what the status is for Matt Corral. That's going to be everything for this team moving forward.
Yeah, and it sucks out so much air out of that team to see your star player go down like that, Heisman candidate. So you can only wish the best for him, that he can recover and everything's okay. But, man, what a brutal injury.
All right, there's no way to transition to fun, but we're going to Zoinks! You see it back behind us. You're going to give us another, like, please, Hammer, don't hurt him? Like,
Please, Hammer, don't hurt him.
Oh, yeah, he's going for it. Look at that. Like, Skubie can actually dance. Like, oh, man. I'm so jealous of that. He's MC Hammer. I'm Fred. We do have a quick update. Matt Corral is back out on the field. Matt Corral back out on the field. We'll be back on this
It's
field
hammer
tonight
time, Matt.
at 11 p.m. Eastern for the wrap-up. Be sure to check it out. You can check out college football coverage all day right here digitally throughout all of our live streams and the ESPN app. For Skubie Mageza, I'm Jason Fitz. For everybody behind the scenes, we genuinely appreciate that you give us your time every Saturday night. This is the College Football Show presented by AT&T 5G. Oh, wait, do I get that hammer dance?
Don't do it, Joe.